call the meeting to order at 6:04, Thursday, February 12th. And we'll take a few minutes to look over the minutes for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January meeting.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion approved. Do we have a vote? Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. And then we go to the treasurer's report. Thank you, Chris.
So we are 1 month through 2026 already. I did not do my comparison to this time last year, so forgive me on that one. But at the start of the year, we're at 1.8 million, and we're down to just over 1.7 with the disbursements this month. Rainy Days got the transfer of the budget from last year of 85,700 for a total of 412,500. Rainy day fund, that is. All the other accounts basically remain the same as they were at the end of the year. So for grand total 2.14 million at the end of January of 26. Appropriations reports, the next 2 pages you'll see there, I believe. Ideally, we'd like to not see any accounts below already for the first month, but as most of you have gathered, Joe, maybe not so much, there's some one-time dues in January that just come out, and then we won't incur those costs for the rest of the year. But so far, personal services, everything looks checking out okay there, just right over the 91.67 that we would like to see in each account. Supplies, 8% above budget, and then we do have some other professional services, legal and technology is 4% below budget. That was due to the Evergreen, the renewal of the Evergreen system. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's about 4,500.
Yeah, so that's kind of a one-time item that shouldn't appear again. And then just like every winter, gas, electric, water, those things tend to be a little bit below, especially gas. So it'll rectify itself throughout the summer when things heat up a little bit. Buildings and structures repair is actually down quite a bit. But that was due to the replacement of the fire door that the ball did, I believe. And some work from, was it McGruff?
Yes,
the roof part.
That was another 1,000. And then the fire door, I was looking at, that would come in for year end, but it got delayed in shipping and everything, so it didn't come in.
So for other services and charges, we are right over, but we are just a smidge over budget. But again, those things will kind of rectify themselves throughout the year and shouldn't see any issues there. Periodicals and newspapers and capital outlays is down also, but that was due to a one-time renewal. Grand total, 1% above budget, which is pretty good for 1 month through the year.
Thank you. Apparently, I'm having breathing issues today, so I'm getting on a mask.
Do we usually do a vote to accept the treasurer's report?
Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I motion to accept it.
I'll second that.
Everyone in favor, aye.
Aye.
Against? Nay? Ayes carried. Okay. Approval of claims, and that's going to be passed along. And during that time, we'll hear from our director.
So for programs and collections, the January movie, we did end up canceling that due to weather and temperature. We just didn't think that anybody would want to get out that Friday. The February movie is Cool Runnings and will be shown on the 27th of this month, which that's kind of a fun one because this year does have an Olympic Jamaican bobsled team. The program Shakeout Sillies has had some success. It can be hit or miss with the number of attendees, but it has been enjoyed by the people who are coming. We did decide to make that an every week before story time, which we're kind of wondering that change of schedule from like once or twice a month to every week, if that's affected that attendance. But it's been a really nice way to utilize the facility because, you know, kids just get to move a little bit. We had 13 attendees for the sourdough class on the 10th, 23 attendees for the Hoosier Pioneer program on the 13th. The diorama class in January was canceled due to weather. We had only one group partake in the opportunity to play pickleball last week. We may try it again next year, but given the usage, we may not. February 17th, we will be having a family trivia program. It will focus on Winter Olympics trivia. The 19th, Clay Geiger will be here to talk about the Barnstable County. The 24th, we will be having a family game night. Winter reading is currently running. We are in our 4th week. We have 50 active patrons signed up for the program, and we have logged 157,000 minutes. Our community goal was set at 300,000. We have significantly fewer readers this year than we did last year, but we're still getting fairly comparable numbers to last year. So we're going to look into why there's that decrease in participation. Maybe we didn't get out there enough, or people just weren't interested in reading. I don't know. There could be any number of reasons. But we're going to try to maybe figure that out so we can rectify that in the future. But the people who are reading and recording even more than normal. So, staff and library development. We've launched the new hygiene pantry. There are a variety of items in the cabinet and plenty of space to add more. If we determine a need or if there's a donation of some sort, we have applied for a grant for the pantry. If we get the grant, I wanted to add at least emergency diapers to the cabinet. With that grant is through the Walmart Spark Fit program. We've asked for $1,000. We're still waiting to hear about a decision from the Community Foundation on the grant for the Charlie Cart. We did inquire about this, and we're told that if we are one of the people who are chosen, we'll have to fill out a formal application and speak to their board about the request. The library is currently undergoing a pretty significant weed, taking out a fair number of items in the audiobooks, movies, fiction, and large print collections so far. Jen Engel's also working on the children's collections. These items are going to be donated to the Friends of the SWCPL, so they can then run the book sale over the garage sale weekend. Jenna Engel, Andrea Benuela, and myself have signed up for the ILF Youth Conference at the end of March. Tara Simmons and Gary Kinney have signed up for a special online America 250 genealogical conference. The Indiana State Library Annual Report has yet to launch. It's normally launched at the end of December and it's due on March 1st, but the company that ran that went out of business late last year. So they've had to find a new provider, and they're currently building the report right now. We have been assured that we're going to get the normal 2 months to finish that report as usual. This report determines our non-resident fee and determines if we are within state standards for library operations. The library was closed on the 26th and 27th due to weather and road conditions. Outreach. Ruth and I spoke to Justin Barker and Ashley Kanich about the possibility of sponsorships. They were interested in potentially being able to provide ongoing sponsorships from year to year, but would need to be able to justify this by having some sort of advertising or something along those lines. It's a business, so that makes sense. After speaking with Jennifer, we thought that the best way to be able to go about it would be if they would provide funds to the Friends group, and then the Friends group would be able to meet requests that we make of them. And they would have a little bit more leeway in being able to advertise sponsors and donors to the library and whatnot. Justin and Ashley are willing to work through that route.
Who are they?
It's two Edward Jones agents.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Spoke briefly with Darcy Hoopengarner about a program called NeighborLink. She dropped off some information about this program and others that we now have available to the public. NeighborLink in particular is a program that connects people who have need to people who are able and willing to assist. It'd be something like if an elderly person needed their yard raked or something and somebody could come and help. Darcy Hoopengarner also offered to provide CPR training to the public. We're still working out the details on that. She's also offered to provide free AED training to the staff, which is very nice because Cintas was several $1,000s if we were going to go through them. The Friends of the SWCPL has been able to meet after the holidays and a few illnesses. We are getting pretty close to officially launching. With the Edward Jones agents, we have available funding for the 501c3 application fee. So we're going to work on getting that done. And there is a planned call-out meeting on March 26th. Hopefully we're able to get a bunch of people on board. There were people who had expressed interest in the group, but did not want to be involved in actually setting one up. I've attended the county council meetings the last couple of months and intended to make this a regular item in my schedule. One council member showed interest in trying to standardize when board members are appointed by them. They were asked to look into that. I don't know if it's possible given state regulations, but if you hear something, let me know. Building maintenance. Previous leak in the flat roof seems to have stopped. We haven't had that leak anymore. But another one popped up with the recent fall. Briefly emailed with the Building and Grounds Committee about a new roof. I'll be getting back on that topic soon. Other stuff just came up that I have to dealt with. We called Colliers out of Warsaw to come and take a look at our fireplace. During that really bad cold snap in January, we tried to turn it on and it just didn't work. So we had them come out. It looked like some batteries needed replaced, but it also needed thoroughly cleaned before it would start working. But now it actually works. Technology, the casting migration was successful. That's the program we use to control the public computers. We also use it for printing release. It's now running on our server instead of an additional computer on the circulation desk. And that's opened up that spot on the desk fairly nicely. I spoke with Larry Michael about versions of Microsoft Office we're using. We believe that we should be running newer versions that are still supported on everything since we replaced our computers fairly recently, the last few years. That means that it's not a potential security risk. There was a mishap with getting Microsoft Office on the newest set of computers that we had ordered and installed. Office stopped working for a little bit because it had not been verified. We did have to pay for the licenses out of this year's budget due to ABC not including that in the original quote, and I missed that. So that's another section that came out of the 3.11. Senate Bill 8 has passed through the Senate. I'll provide some additional information in a second about that. We completed the annual financial report. Get that advertised soon. Thank you, Chris, for submitting that today. All annual and monthly financial documents for 2025 that the SWCPL requires have been uploaded and the staffs have received their W-2s.
You touch a little bit more on the Edward Jones sponsorships thing again. Did they approach you guys, or we approach them, or what's the sponsorships thing?
So one of them is actually the guy that I go through, and we were talking about the library. This Justin Barker, he is from around here, and he expressed an interest in just being able to help out financially for things that we might need. So he contacted the Edward Jones people in Columbia City and in this area just to make sure he wouldn't be stepping on anybody's toes because he operates out of Huntington. One of them did show an interest, so we set up a meeting with them, and they were willing to provide some financial support for programming or things along those lines.
More so programming, not necessarily any kind of investment type.
No.
Okay, I got you.
No, no, it would be basically them giving a little bit of money to be able to support a program or summer reading or something along those lines.
Gotcha.
And just from the financial perspective, I think it's probably just better to run that through the Friends group.
This isn't something we get a motion on, right?
Probably so.
It's you just
Yeah,
present
just-
it. Okay, we are up to old business. Anybody have comments on old business? And anybody bringing up new business?
So that's an update from SB 8. I provided that here. So Senate Bill 8 was raised in the Senate and passed through fairly quickly near the end of January. It's currently been passed to the House. It would limit the growth potential of library budgets. Units are able to raise their budgets typically by the maximum levy growth quotient set by the state every year. The past several years, that's been 4%. If this bill were to pass, we would be limited to 50% minus $1 unless we wanted to go into binding review and go to the county council. which in that situation, the county council could look at it and say, we're actually going to reduce your budget, we're not going to approve it. Language has been added back into the bill that make it so the fiscal body, our county council, would not be able to lower our budget by more than 10%, but I mean, that's still not great. It's currently referred to the House Ways and Means Committee, but a hearing has not been scheduled as of at least a couple days ago. Our representative is Chris Judy. He is actually on the Ways and Means Committee. If the bill does not pass through, there is the potential of similar language being brought up in SB 4, but it was dropped due to language in SB 8. SB 4 would put all libraries in binding review, and it does not have that percent max that they can reduce. So technically, all libraries would be in binding review. They could go to get their budget approved by the county council, and the county council could just say you have no budget for this year, in theory. So neither is great, but of the two, SBA is the least
Do
harmful
you
one.
see why they're pushing this right now?
To my understanding, there's a couple of principles that they're trying to get through. There's obviously controls on property taxes and increases there. There's concern about taxes being set by non-elected boards. So that's one of the big ones. And to my understanding, that's one that Chris Judy really has big belief in. He thinks that taxes should be set by elected boards. The other thing is, based off of some comments that were made at the ILF conference last year by legislators, there is the desire to try to create more local control for the units. So this would create more local control as opposed to not having as much.
The local control is great if you have the right people in place. Yeah.
And then ILF, the Indiana Library Federation, had a response to SB 8 from January 28th. That was, I believe, the most recent thing that I had from them. I added that on here as well. There's some additional frustration with this bill because if it does pass, it's going to be a moot point in just a few years because SEA 1 is still in place, which will freeze our growth unless it gets approved by county council.
It's basically saying, why go through all this hassle and SE1 is basically going to take care of it.
Yeah, that's what many people are saying.
Okay, thank you. Miscellaneous business. No comments? Okay. Public comments, same. I guess we're ready to adjourn. 6:23.